city council meeting, and I want to welcome everybody here today. We got a pretty big crowd. He said, we're not here some moment, somebody kind of talk a little over, maybe it's okay. We want to try to keep this thing on track and keep this agenda moving, not as fast as we can, but as efficiently as we can. And the first thing we're going to do is have a pledge, amplification, we're going to have a pledge.
Let us pray. Father, Lord, we thank you so much for allowing us to come out, Lord, and just enjoy the freedom to be in your community, Father, that we might do your work. Lord, I pray right now, Father, that you would bless our government, from the White House to the federal, to the state, to the local, all the way to the Lula City Council, Father. I pray that you would bless this council, bless every member on it, Lord, that they would have the wisdom of Solomon, the heart of David, and the zeal of Paul, Father. I pray, Lord, that you bless us, that we might all live peaceable lives to do your will. We thank you for all things in Jesus Christ's holy name. Amen. Amen.
Thanks. Second, Jason, salute, pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. In case anybody want a very short one right now, but in Bible study, so it's that time of year again. We have a forum here, so that business we like.
I think he's telling how to do public comment.
Okay. Now, it's time for citizen comments, and the city council has such rules for these comments, and here they are. The time for citizen and public comments will be made available at the beginning and ending of each city renewal work session and council meeting. Comments can be made by anyone, including business owners and businesses that are located within city limits. Comments will not be limited to any topic. Comments must be directed to the council and mayor. Language must remain civil, and speakers should avoid personal attacks on the council or staff. Speakers should state their name and address. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes. A timer will be set at the end of 3 minutes. The speaker will be asked to bring the comment to a close. If there's something else to be said, an opportunity will be available at the next session for citizen comments. Anybody want to start? Come on up front.
Look.
My name is Elder Lytle. I live at 5169 Mountain View Parkway, and I want to see what the procedure has to do with getting speed bumps put in there. It's I live within the first 5 houses off the interstate, and it's a good piece before you get to the first house. And I know that cars, motorcycles, whatever, reach speeds at least up to 60 to 65 miles an hour before they get to my house. And I want to know if he put a sheriff car there, with the ticket revenue, they can afford the speed bumps. What do we need to do to get speed bumps in that subdivision?
Thank you, sir. We have considered that. We're still, I think we just implemented a policy. I don't know exactly what we decided about speed bumps. I think the procedure was put in place, am I right?
We're still reviewing
I couldn't remember.
a policy and a path forward for speed bumps. Yes.
Next.
Good evening, gentlemen and ladies. My name is Michael Davis. I live at 6409 Grove Street. This is about the house that is next door with the buzzards and the rats and all the rest of the varmints. I've got pictures of the house here and the address, and this man right here, he came over the other day when the lady was there at the food bank, the ministry across the street from my house, and I noticed her out sweeping the sidewalk off, sweeping the entrance to the missionary place. And she had explained to me that she's getting ready to shut that food bank down at that ministry because she can't keep the rats out of there. They're getting into the food and eating stuff. She said they even ate a thing of hand sanitizer. She said, so there's some pretty good sized rats. And the code enforcement man was there. He saw the rat feces that she had swept out. It was a good little pile. She said this has been going on for months. And the house over there that she's talking about, the rats are coming over from there and they're coming to my house. And the older lady that lives on the other side, you can spit from her house and hit the side of that house that she's talking about. She said she'd paid a repairman several times to come over and repair her roof where they land on top of her house. She's got a little stovepipe coming out of her house. She said they knocked it over twice, getting up there and sitting on it, and it just knocks it over. But I feel like something needs to be done about that house. It's sore to the community, you know. The people that know it know what I'm talking about. I will leave the pictures I've got here, and there's names and addresses of the people that owned it or still own it. Been dead for 25 years. And the people that paid taxes on it the last time taxes were paid. The old lady that lives over there, she said it had been going on for quite some time, you know, that she always just gets, well, we can't find the owners. She said there's more than one owner, and we can't find the owners, and you know, it's just a real complicated ordeal. They've started a new thing. I saw on the news the other night in Atlanta. They're starting a new ordinance. It's a Prime Solutions property management, Bliss Prime Solutions, and that is that you've only got a certain amount of time to get rid of the old property like that's dilapidating, and it's a nuisance to the community. I don't know if that probably would not pertain to us, but it sounds like a pretty good ordinance to me. I appreciate y'all letting me come up here and speak on this, and I'll leave these pictures of the houses and the taxpayers and the homeowners.
Can that house be condemned?
Yes, sir.
It should
The
have been.
nuisance property statute that the speaker is mentioning, the
It's on.
council adopted, we have, but it's a state law. So once we can get the nuisance declared, then we're required to wait 270 days before the city can go in and go after the property. We can always pursue just a public nuisance outside of that ordinance, but we've been pursuing it pursuant to the ordinance.
Have been started?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, thank y'all for letting me come up here and speak on that.
Thank you.
Emails?
Yes, my name's Roy Maddox. I live at 6267 West County Line Road, just right over here. Right around where the bad curve is with the drop off down to the railways. There's people speeding through this road all the time. Half of them aren't paying attention when they're doing so. I know a neighbor of mine across the road from me has lost a few dogs because he's mad about not keeping them on the leash. I had one dog that was trying to stay with me at all times, and I let him play with the kids across the road. And they would just send him home. He'd come on back to the house, no problem. And a lady did hit him just a couple weeks ago, and he did pass away, but she wasn't paying attention to what she was doing while she was driving. She said she stopped. She didn't have time to stop when she stopped. But it took her a good 200 feet to get stopped, and with that being a relatively low speed limit road, it shouldn't have taken that long to stop. And I don't know what we can do to get someone to either come out there and sit with a patrol car, get some revenue to get speed bumps put in or something. That road needs resurfaced anyway. And I know they did just do speed bumps and resurface on Maiden Lane over there. But I thank you.
Thank you. I got a question for you.
Yes.
namely, are you on County Line Road between Highway 51 and Railroad Avenue? Is that where you are? You right now?
I am between
Street.
52 Athens Street and the new
The reason
subdivision
I'm
down there.
asking, we have a proposal and that we're going to talk about tonight,
Mhm.
about resurfacing that area, or patching areas.
Okay.
I mean, if you fix it, could make it smoother, guess it's going to get faster, not slower.
Right. That's why I was saying, if we get some speed control
Well,
devices
that's
put in, that'd be
problem
great.
as well.
All right, thank you.
Anybody else? Okay. There'll be an opportunity immediately to have more comments. If something comes up, you want to say something about it. All right, something new, and I guess we've probably been doing it all the time. The council should approve the agenda. We never have done it before, but anybody see anything on the agenda want to change?
I make a motion that we approve the agenda as written and distributed.
Second.
Yeah, motion by the Tony Cornett, second by Chris Lula, to approve the agenda as written. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Yeah, as everybody seen the minutes from last week, last month's meeting. Anybody got any changes to make to that? I entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Governor Smith to approve minutes.
I'll second.
Second by Juliet. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. All right. Now, there's been some controversy about this show US your colors. It's a red and white book book. It was started a couple of years ago. It's a drawing and says the city council picking it. Now, there have been several, but what it involves is somebody entering the drawing to be picked. And we don't get a whole lot of participation. Matter of fact, this year we had 11 people in 5 districts. So, but I think we're going to consider, council comment tonight to me, we're probably going to consider changing the procedure. But tonight, instead we advertised it, we're going to have to do a drawing, since it's told, said that's what we want to do. So we got to keep our word to it. So the drawing, and there were 3 people in District 1. Tony? Pick one of them.
Just pick one.
All right, got one there on the date. Oh, I moved it inside. There was no snooping that way.
All right. It's Richard Carlson, 5483 Neverson Court.
All right. It says Denise not here. I have 2 entries from District 2. You'll pick that one too?
Oh, I'll pick it. Let's see. Hold on.
Can't be my
You
right.
sealed these up pretty good.
It's Steve notes. I just
Yeah.
put it back together.
That's a strong sticky. I got it here. It's going to be Betty Porter, 5562 McLeod Street.
Get that, Tandy? Thank you. All right, in District 3, we had 3 entries. And there's- right there.
You did so
Good on you.
That's what I said.
Sticky that. You gotta love him. All right, Felton Wood, 6759 Belton Bridge Road. All right, in District 4, we had 3 entries. Garnet,
You want to pick?
pick one of them. District 1.
Well, heck, you picked them anyhow,
I
what's
did.
in mine?
I didn't pick none.
Picked Felton Wood and Roy Hall.
They are. I've explained this 14 times. I'm explaining that this was an
Went
entry.
15 then.
This is an entry. You go online, you enter,
District 4.
Yeah, and I'm trying to figure out the name because there's no name on here.
oh, I didn't put the name on it.
Sorry. That
It's
was
okay.
probably my fault too. Go ahead.
I've got it, wasn't it?
Raphael Upchurch,
Oh, okay.
5104 Nob Hill Court.
I've got to put the name on it.
Yeah, so
Sorry.
it's our fault too.
Right one got it, that's fine.
And Juliet, you have one entry. You want to read it? You want me to read it?
Sure, I'll do it.
There you go.
Shelby Wood, 5706 Athens Street.
Okay. That was the entries that we made for this month. We still have 6 left for next month. We've been advertising it as a drawing again for next month. I would entertain a discussion about changing this drawing procedure. And we put it back to the city council of selecting them, or another thing too, August is late time, we're showing the plaque, the plaque colors as a decorative item, because the patriotic month is considered over with, and people get ready for the fall decorations during August. So, I would entertain a discussion, if y'all want to change this procedure for next month's drawing. If not, we'll have a drawing. And when you have open entries again, for more people to draw on, I'll put these in next month's drawing, if that's what you want to do. So,
I think we should go back to the council picking in August, because there's really not anybody with flags up.
I have mine.
I agree with that too. I think it's very unfair the way we do.
like I said, this,
Person have one flag out and get it, that's wrong.
so. Okay.
Go back the way you, is that what you
Is
said?
that a motion, or?
Make the motion, so.
I'll make the motion that we go back to council picks for each individual district for the month of August.
I'll second that.
For August, okay. So we're not going to address July next year yet, is that correct? Okay. I got a second. Good.
You got a second?
Yeah, second, Norm, motion made by Juliet to have council pick Joe Musk for August. All opposed, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. It's passed.
Mayor, on the minutes, I realize you've approved the minutes and council has, but I had sent the resolutions for each of the de-annexations, and so that we would have what we need to send to Department of Community Affairs and the Banks County Tax Commissioner. I would just ask y'all to approve, or just approve those resolutions as you approved and denied the annexation.
Oh, okay. I was saying we'd already done the annexation, but the resolution was set to be submitted.
Yes, sir, they do.
So,
I have.
so our attorney has paperwork, so we have to decide something about this, the resolutions to approve the de-annexation of the 6 properties, or how many properties it was. I forgot what the annexation was, of the properties over on the Griffin Farm.
And Ms. Sargent,
And
Mr.
Ms.
and Mrs. Sargent.
Yeah.
So the ones that the council approved to be de-annexed, that you have a copy of the resolution, and I'll have the originals here to be signed, would be for Renee and Kevin Sargent, tax parcel B06F001. Council, and the minutes you've just approved that property to be de-annexed, and I'd ask that you approve that resolution.
Get a motion?
Motion.
Motion made by Chris to approve it, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Juliet, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. That is approved.
And in the what we referenced as the Griffin parcels resolution to approve de-annexation of tax parcel B01021 from Miriam Lawson, also known as Miriam Hickman.
Make a motion.
Motion made by Chris,
I'll second it.
second by Juliet, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no.
Next one that was approved for de-annexation was tax parcel B01021 0551 from Lane Griffin, and also known as Howard Griffin and Miriam Lawson.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Motion by Juliet, second by Chris, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
And the resolution, I'm sorry, excuse me. Resolution to approve the annexation of tax parcel B010552, filed on behalf of Lane Griffin, also known as Howard Lane Griffin and Miriam Lawson.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Chris to approve,
Second it.
second by Ronnie, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no.
The next one that was approved for de-annexation is tax parcel B011006A1, by Kitty Griffin and Lane Griffin.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Chris to approve,
I'll second.
second by Juliet, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no.
The last resolution for the approval of those parcels that you heard was for tax parcel B011006A2, filed by Kitty Griffin and Lane Griffin.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Chris to approve,
Second.
second by Juliet, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no.
And the denial, I sent you two options, and where that came from is I've stayed in touch with Mr. Dickerson, the Griffin's attorney, and sent him the draft, and he sent back, so you should have two options. The first one just pretty much tracks the language of the new statute, that being OCGA 36-36-131, to where you found there were health, safety, and welfare considerations for the property to be annexed in, as well as the city of Lula. And the second resolution that I sent to you just added language in the therefore clause about the de-annexation, acknowledging that you have rendered this decision based upon your current information, and that the investigation of facts and circumstances regarding safe travel options remains pending, so that if you find that these parcels are not needed as part of your public safety finding, the Griffins could resubmit to the county and go back through the process. But you would just need to tell me which version of the resolution denying the annexation, because that's what you did, you would prefer.
Joe, did you say you had copies of this for all of us?
Yes,
Because we don't have one from.
you don't?
Yeah.
I think maybe
We've
it's-
got electronic.
Oh, okay.
Copy.
Okay. I got the, go ahead.
Do we have, I've got verbiage here in front of me, in the now therefore clause, that's the clause that was adjusted, correct?
Yes.
Is there, I'm looking for the second version.
First one that I sent out sometime last week does not contain the last sentence of the
Okay.
one that you're looking at.
Right. Render the decision based upon current information,
Right.
investigation facts.
That's right.
Which basically means once we get ours done, they can come back in.
Right.
Yes, yes.
That's basically what this second simplification.
All right. So then the first one that was, the de-annexation was denied is for tax parcel B01-006. Property owners are Lane and Kitty Griffin.
You want version A or version B? That's basically our question, is that correct?
Yes, I thought.
I'll make a motion for version B, for the one that adds the verbiage.
Motion made by Juliet to adopt version B or please not comment. Take your second.
I'll second.
Second made by Tony, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no.
Second parcel is tax parcel B01-015. Property owners Lane and Kitty Griffin.
I'll make a motion for option B.
I'll second.
Motion made by Juliet, second by Tony, to option B, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no.
Third resolution denying the de-annexation request is tax parcel B01-017. Property owners are Lane and Kitty Griffin.
I'll make a motion for option B.
I'll second.
Motion by Ms. Juliet, second by Tony for option B. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no.
Next parcel is tax parcel B01026A. Property owners are Lane and Kitty Griffin.
I'll make a motion for option B.
I'll second.
Motion by Ms. Juliet, second by Tony for option B. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no.
And the last one is tax parcel B01026B. Property owners are Lane and Kitty Griffin.
I'll make a motion for option B.
I'll second.
Motion by Ms. Juliet, second by Tony for option B. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no.
Thank you. I'll get those for signature.
Thanks, sir. Okay, that gets down to number 4, am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Finance.
All right, we have two items for your consideration tonight. We discussed these with the Finance Committee last week. The first one is a proposal from Payroll Solutions out of Cornelia. We're asking you to give us the opportunity to transfer some of our potential liability, but also have payroll done by Payco. And that proposal is in front of you. It's for the $71.85 per payroll period. The biggest difference is there are two goals for us. One is to have the W-2s transferred to them versus us preparing them, and two, specifically for us, is quarterly payroll taxes that they've gone through and submitted, and that they handle those. And the representative from Payco is here tonight to answer any questions you have. Ms. Sarah?
I'd like to make a motion to table that till next month, because I just got paperwork now.
Would you like to hear what she had to say first, while she's here?
What's that?
Would you like to hear what she got to say since she's sitting here first?
Yeah,
You already tabled? You voted to table?
yeah, I'll put it on the list.
Do you have any questions for me as far as what we do?
No, we just received the paperwork tonight. A little late.
The Finance Committee saw this last week and looked through it pretty closely. What it boiled down to, according to my calculation, it's roughly $200 a year. I'm going to find out the numbers. So,
Well, I'm a local business. We're in Baldwin, and I've worked with Frank in the past before, and he's been great.
anybody got any questions about FICO?
So currently, we're doing it all in-house?
We currently do it all in-house. The front end will continue to do in-house, taking the employees' hourly information and sick leave and vacation time. We'll take that all up front, and then that will transfer to Payco. They would prepare the bills. They generally send us a draft before they ever process them. So we have a second opportunity to go through and make sure that everything is correct. At that point, we would release it, and they would process it the way we did with United Bank Tangent. So it would just change put another set of eyes. And
You said that would help some of the city's liability?
well, from our perspective, yes, because specifically with the quarterly reporting.
Yes, we do the
And we want to stay on top
reporting
of
the
those.
tax payments, and then we also help with the retirement funds that you have. We can take care of all that reporting and so forth.
And what was Finance Committee's?
Everything that approved.
Yeah, the way I understand it, because I see the proposal, oh, sorry, get my microphone back on. I see the proposal, Payco Payroll Solutions, this was submitted June 4th, 2024. Base fee for weekly payroll, transactional fee is listed here, 17 employees times that fee, $2.15. So that's a total of $71.85, which I believe is like roughly $3,600 and some. The one-time fee, you're agreeing to waive that, correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay. And that's the setup. So you're
Correct.
willing to waive the setup. And then the annual fees, that's strictly for the W-2 1099 processing, right? And so that is for each employee.
No, the $80 is a one-time annual fee. That's to upload the W-2s to the Social Security website and the filing. The per employee fee is $750, and that generates the W-2.
Okay, I think I did that wrong then. So I'm looking at
That changes a lot there, doesn't it?
times 52 weeks, that's $3,736 for the weekly payroll in total for the year. And then, let's see, that's 3736, and then 750 times 17, that's $127 for the year for all 17 employees to process the W-2 1099, and then an $80 one-time fee to get it into the system. That's $207. So that's plus 3736. So we're looking at $3,943 in total to offload that from our staff, which, if I understand correctly, does gain your company, Payco, you're taking on the liability of the timely processing, so that if any issue were to arise where it was not filed on time, Payco would resolve that issue at Payco's own expense, correct?
That is correct, yes.
And that's not the case as it is today, correct, Frank? Okay. And so we're looking at less than $4,000 to offload the entire payroll services and do risk transference in total 100%, as long as we are providing the correct information
That is correct.
to
yes.
Payco.
Correct.
And the information that we would supply to you, and Frank helped me out here, that would be strictly our weekly reporting of hours. And then,
Weekly reporting of hours, salary, our rate, vacation time used, vacation time earned, sick time used, sick time earned, but that's annual. So, and then, as she mentioned, any of the retirement
Any
portion.
deductions and so
We
forth.
also have first garnishments, stuff like that too. Well, that's also first garnishments.
Yes,
We
yes.
would process and then send it to our neighbor client.
oh, okay. So the extraneous stuff that's not common, such as garnishments, all of that is included in Payco's
Correct,
offer
yes,
as well.
yes.
Because I do see, it looks like, I'm just going to read it out for everyone. It does show services as payroll processing, online payroll, tax service, direct deposit, and report library available as well. Okay. Is there anything that I'm missing in those services that you think of?
No garnishments, we take care of retirement. I can do all of the reporting. I can pay the insurance deductions and all of that. I think that's pretty much, and we can do departmentalized pay, so we can break everything up in departments. We can set the GL to allocate that, so that way you don't have to sit there and budget
Okay.
what goes, what goes where.
So we could, if we ever decided to change the way that we want to, I guess, for lack of a better phrase, dissect the allocation of, our work and what we're paying for what work, you're willing to do that on an ad hoc basis?
Correct, yes.
Okay. And it doesn't look like there's any charge for that.
No, there's not, no.
Greatly appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We're impressed by your proposal for our committee meetings. I think Tony backed me up on that. We saw that, we said, wow. That was our reaction, right?
I agree. I know Denise, I know she's absent today, but she also, gave her approval with a recommendation
So
from the finance
actually,
committee.
we need a motion from the council, we have a committee motion already made. All we have to do is approve it. Am I correct?
We have a motion to table.
Motion to table.
I thought I would do that motion. We do I overstate?
I'll make it again after hearing it.
Okay.
I think we need to table it for 1 month.
We have a motion to table this proposal. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Juliet. All in favor of tabling this motion, say aye. All opposed say,
So,
all opposed say no.
No.
We have 3 and 1 vote to table this motion for next month. Sorry. I want to thank you for coming in. I want to thank you for the agenda. Okay. All right, next thing on the agenda,
The second proposal was directly related, it's from Norton Consulting Services out of Roswell. Brenda Norton is an independent, she's a retired county and city finance director. She does consulting work on financial databases. What we're trying to get through with our current 2022-23 audit, there's some procedures that we're not applying correctly, and we're asking for her help to, one, so we can better do reconciliations on a monthly basis. So we have the account codes that line up with each other. And also, once that's completed, ability to take a look at our 23-24, just do a quick and look at if there are any issues that she can identify with how journal entries have been made, and whether there are any other changes that need to be made prior to giving them to our auditor.
so she also looked at 2022, 2023.
That one's basically done with, except for the questions they're asking on an individual basis. So I have not asked her to go back to that period. She would if we asked. Like I said, I think the close had been done with Wayne and his audit for that period, so that's why I didn't ask her to do that. The vast majority of it would be done remotely. CSI can't support that. So the hourly rate is $68 an hour. We anticipate most of this work being done in 4 weeks, 1 month, versus ongoing. So, and the description expenses there generally would not apply, because she had hip surgery replacement this morning, so I don't anticipate her driving anytime in this next month. So I'll be glad to answer specific questions you have and go from there.
Do we have a financial magnitude of an estimate, since we're talking about 1 month of services?
One moment. If I can find my calculator. I'm sorry. 68 times 160 would be.
You're talking about full-time for a month.
Yes.
Yes.
That would be on the outside, yes.
1 moment.
$10.86.
Oh.
What you read to do, right?
2880.
10.80, right?
How much?
You said 68 times,
160.
160.
yeah, we're at 10,880.
That's what I think.
And this is in conjunction with regaining the data that we need to make sure that we are in compliance, is that correct, with the state, General Assembly's state regulation of our
Yes.
budget?
Yes, specifically, 2 items specifically. One is we have 12 active accounts that we monitor. Within those, we're trying to verify so that we can do the monthly bank reconciliations in a timely manner, that both the revenue side and the expenditure side accounts match up and line up to each other, so that our software will calculate it versus us having to do it manually. So that's the one portion. And the second portion I would ask her is to look at the fiscal year we just finished, look at our journal entries to make sure there's nothing popping out that we did something backwards or misentered it, so doing an eyeball check that we've used Zoe. She's done bookkeeping for us in the past. I'm just trying to get an outside eye so we can resolve the ongoing issues we have with the current bookkeeping.
And Zoe is with the...
She's independent.
Independent, okay.
Yes.
Is this going to replace our CPA audit for the year, for the state audit, or is this going to be?
No, this
in
is
addition
going to support.
And what was the deadline on, well, I should say it this way. What is our current status as a city of Lula as it's standing with the state of Georgia?
We are currently 1 year behind, and we're out of compliance.
We are out of compliance.
Yes. They have not identified us as delinquent at this time, but definitionally we're delinquent. Like I said, Tangi for the last 3 weeks has been sending Wayne everything, his team, everything they've asked for on a routine and regular basis. Part of what we've done in the last week is information that in other places I've been, the audit team comes in and spends a week harassing us for records. These have been done individually, one item at a time over email, so it's been a lot less timely.
Agreed.
So we anticipate, I have not had a call from Wayne in the last 3 days, but we anticipate that the draft should be out in any moment of time.
Agreed. One more question, Frank.
Yes.
Before we entertain any motion. Do we have any funding applications currently outstanding from the state of Georgia or any of the state agencies, such as LMIG or other funding accounts that are currently in jeopardy if the state did declare us delinquent?
The only one that's out there specifically is LMIG, and the way GDOT has handled that is as you get up to current, they will make up those funds. They're just withholding them until such time as you are.
So at this time, we have some funds that are being withheld.
They have not at this time.
They have not withheld.
I'm just saying that's the only one out there that we anticipate.
Right, and that could be in jeopardy as a result of being out of compliance, although we are not quite yet listed publicly as delinquent.
That's correct.
Okay. And the reason I bring that up is I just wanted to fully understand and, make sure we're all, aware of what this proposal looks like. Norton Consulting Services out of Roswell, that proposal is to assist in gaining that compliance with our financial audit, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the proposal, Norton Consulting Services LLC, 3150 Foxhall Overlook, Roswell, Georgia, that was listed and provided June 14th, 2024, as is.
I need a second. No.
Motion dies.
Motion dies. Good. Okay. Next is streets.
Yes, sir. As you know, we've had an issue over the last few months on potholes on County Line Road in the vicinity of, just this, between Apple Street and where the Rouse brothers have their storage and facility. We've gotten two proposals at this point. The first proposal is Garrett Paving Company out of Athens, Georgia. And their proposal is for $60,340. The second proposal was Rouse Brothers. Their proposal is for $41,483.39 plus $2,500 for traffic control. So that would be at $43,983.39. Given that both of them have done work for the city before on previous jobs, including Outleg, we would recommend that you consider awarding a bid to Rouse Brothers to repair that section of road.
Anybody have questions or discussion?
Yes. So just for clarification, we've got two competing bids to solve the same problem according to the scope of work that was provided to them. And we've got two differing costs. So one job total would be $60,340 versus another bid of $43,983 for a difference of $16,000 and change for the identical repair.
Actually, one.
And the recommendation, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Actually, one is 4 inch. Those three.
Oh, 4 inch deep?
Yeah, those three.
Okay. Because we have the 2 inches of binder and 2 inches of coarse surface versus a total 3 inch depth.
Correct.
And so the larger bid of $60,340 is for 3 inches of hot mix asphalt versus 2 inch paved back and 2 inch binder coarse surface. Okay, so there's our difference. And the recommendation from staff is for $43,983, correct?
That's correct.
That's all the questions I have.
Anybody got questions?
Make a motion for the 43,000. Second.
Motion made by Garnet, second by Chris Allen to accept Rouse Brothers bid for the repaving of the passing out of County Line Road. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Can you start tomorrow?
I don't think so, but.
You want her to ask, right? Okey-dokey. Notes up here. All right. Now it's time again for citizen comments. You guys got one to say?
Citizen comments?
Citizen comments? Come on.
I do. Sorry I wasn't here first at the meeting for comments. Hey, I attended, and I implore all the people here to come to these meetings that they have. There was a financial meeting this past week, and there was also a zoning meeting this week. And I implore everyone to come to these meetings. There's a lot of information. I would just like to know, and I was at the zoning committee, and I was sitting there, and Mr. Frank, he came off, said something about Narramore Way. That's all I heard. And then it went to all the different zonings, agriculture residential, how it was looking at being changed, and all that. Which I'm a little, are they looking at changing, and this is what I didn't get from this zoning thing, are they going to change setbacks in Narramore Way subdivision to what it was? Instead of, because our houses are 10 feet apart, and our setbacks right now, because of the December 19th change of 2022, our setbacks went from 10 feet to 25 feet, and our houses aren't 10 feet apart. Big difference. I mean, we got 20 feet between us, and we're at 25 feet on our setbacks. So I was just like to get an update. I know there was a lot of information, and there was a lot of things coming up on the zoning changing, and I'd like to know if there's going to be another meeting on with you guys, with the zonings, and there's 3 people on the zoning board, I believe, and they are making recommendations to Frank, and Frank brings them to y'all at a meeting at 5 o'clock, right?
Let me try.
There's a lot of information there. There's a lot of information on the zoning that's coming up for change. If you folks can see all this, this is all about the city of Lula
The magnifying glass out.
and your property, right there, that huge farm. There was a lot of, what I thought, a lot of changes. And if you guys are making all those changes, one, when you're going to present it to the community, because there's a lot of changes. I mean, density, height of buildings, just a lot. And I didn't understand about any setbacks being changed in Narramore Way.
That's what Tony's showing you is on the chart, mostly is setbacks. But the flow of information is there's instructions from council to staff. So at this point, Frank has taken up that effort. So Frank will try to gather information, does the background work, reviews zoning ordinances from wherever he can find them based upon his instructions from council. He then discusses that or makes recommendation to get the ball rolling to a planning and zoning committee that consists of 2 council members and the mayor. The 3-person group you're talking about is a separate group, and that's our planning commission. And they meet on the first Tuesday of each month at 6 o'clock. And one of the things that they go through is making recommendations to not only the Planning and Zoning Committee, but the full council. But your concern about whether this would just be done can't happen, because under the law, there has to be public hearings and notice of that public hearing before the Planning Commission, the 3-member group, has to be at least 30 days before their meeting. There has to be a separate and distinct public hearing before the council, and notice of that hearing is also published, and that has to be 30 to 45 days after the notice runs. So there'll be a public hearing before the Planning Commission, and there'll be a public hearing before the council. Council started this process because of the issues related to the setbacks that y'all brought to their attention.
Right.
Again, that doesn't impact y'all's vested rights. So the fact that a setback would change would not, anything that's there would not have to be relocated if it was there the day before
Right.
the ordinance was approved.
I acquired my property 5 days before y'all changed it.
So, once council got started with making changes on the setbacks, other issues came before council that related to density and a lot of the other items that you have mentioned. So Frank has made his effort to include those, and whether that means changing districts, that is eliminating some districts, or adding, are options that will be presented. And only once the council and the planning commission have had a chance to review all of that will we proceed with advertising for public hearings. That's the minimum requirements, and council will likely hold additional public hearings as they go through this process and get feedback from you and other members of the public.
What's the proposed setbacks?
I'm just looking at the documentation that I have. Now, Narramore has, those properties are agriculture, is that correct? They're zoned agricultural?
That's what Frank says, they're agriculture.
Yeah, I believe that's the case when the subdivision was created. Okay. So prior to, and I don't know what year that was created. Was it 2006? Does that ring a bell? I think that number's been thrown out.
I think 1995, 96.
1995, 1996. So I don't know what they were then.
They were 10, I went to the courthouse, and
Okay.
they dug it all up, and it was 10 feet, and 25 feet off the back, and 30 feet off the front, which is why we have the eyesore.
So what I show in the data that we've got is that prior to December 2022, and I don't know how many decades it spans prior to that, or however long it was. If the side yard setback in agriculture is 25. The current setback is 25. And the proposal that's being talked about is 25. So no change from prior to 2020, December 2022. So I don't know when it went, I don't know when city did anything from making it from 10 to 25.
Well,
I don't know.
I checked when I went to Gainesville, we checked everything from 1980 forward, and the only thing that's changed through the city of Gainesville was lots 1 and 2 being combined. The original plot is there, and so is the original setbacks. And so if a person buys a piece of property, and I'm thinking, okay, my setback's 10 and 10 and 25, and you're telling me maybe 2006, we know in 2022 it changed.
It did not change in 2022.
It did not
It did
change.
not change. The side yard setbacks were 25, and after December 2022, it was still 25.
So-
Same thing for the rear.
Somewhat between-
Rear was 35 prior to December 2022, and it's currently 35, so it's the same. And the front yard setbacks, that's a different reading. Hold on.
Front yards.
What are you wanting?
That's it was prior to December 2022, it was 100, it didn't change. That's arterial street, but,
I'm just wanting
so no change on
setbacks
agriculture.
when the subdivision was put in, that's all.
If I may,
And I've been
Yes.
waiting for months.
under the zoning procedures act, changes in zoning by the council takes precedence and is the law versus what's on a plat from time to time, because it changes as council change and events change.
Right.
So it's not a static, doesn't change often, but it allows council to change it as times change
So
and events
for new
change.
construction only, but for our people that are in there.
No, it applies across the board, not just for new construction.
And I want to say thank you to Frank for bringing us some of the discussion that Planning Commission, the 3 individuals that Joey just mentioned, the Planning Commission itself, not council, that believe they're talking about a proposal. And I know those that were able to attend the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, the Planning and Zoning Committee meeting last week. One of those proposals was an option to create an agricultural residential district or an agricultural residential zoning. So I'm waiting to see.
That was changing from 1.5 acres to 3, and agriculture was being changed from 3 to 5 acres.
Yeah, I don't know, and I've got the details there. It looks like there's about 10 different points on it. But I'm just anxious to hear what the Planning Commission.
So
comes
what
back
I'm
to
hearing
council.
is my setbacks that we discussed about making a change on to what it originally was, when that's not going to happen, because it's already been changed. And so for the last 4 months, I've been sitting waiting for council to decide. And I'm not trying to ruffle any feathers. I'm trying to get a 30 by 40 building built on property that I bought thinking my setbacks were this, and they're not. And I have to go through a variance. And at one point in time, we were told the variance for us would be expired and we wouldn't have to pay that $300. I don't know what it is now. I'm still trying to, if I need to write up a variance thing, it doesn't mean I'm gonna get it. And if it's said no by the council members, or somebody comes and says, no, we don't want that, whoever's within 300 feet of my building, then I have a year before I can come back and do that again. And it's probably gonna be the same. So what I'm hearing right now from what you said, everything was changed in 2006, and Mr. Frank has brought forward that that's the law and there's nothing to be changed or done about that.
To be clear, I don't know the 2006. I'd heard that date given, but
It's
I don't
around
have
that time, but
And so for 4 months, I've been waiting to see what can go on with my property, and no one here can answer that other than just right here and now. I think that the city and people of Lula need to know what's happening with these proposals they're coming up with on the new zoning. because you're taking away farming, the farm ground's going to a larger amount. So anybody within sight, you have to have 5 acres to have a cow. And where I live, there's goats, there's horses, there used to be donkeys hee-hawing.
Then why did you move here? If you like, there's the why move here.
That's none of your concern. I found a house that I loved.
But we don't want the same thing here that you had there.
I didn't have any problems at my other place, Mayor. I've just been here 4 months, and you guys said you was going to do something about this. And now what I'm hearing from Frank is it's been done. And what I'm hearing from you, there's no changes coming. So why am I waiting for 2 more months for the council to do when it's coming from Frank, which is coming from 3 people that nobody's supposed to know or talk to? This is our community. I moved here because this was a small community. And this zoning, you all want more houses on a property, less density, so that there's sewer runoff. You don't want much building on a property because you want it to absorb into the ground. You want the sewer to not have to take on to that. You want more houses in per acre because it is more affordable for lights, utilities, whatever. But that's not what Lula is. Lula is a small community that has been rural, and now it's fixing to change with what is being proposed. And all we brought forward was we wanted our setbacks 4 months ago. And now you're going to revise the whole residential thing. I don't know that what was set in 2022 or 2006 was wrong. I know that changing residential and farming and how many houses you can have on an acre, Lula, they don't have, other than this mess right here at the railroad where houses are on top of one another. I've not seen anything other than that bad eyesore where things are so close together. And I'm just saying that putting up on the board up here or on your door that there's a meeting tonight or in 2 days, or I even asked about what's going to be on the agenda. I was told we won't know about agenda until Friday afternoon when it's put up here on the door. How do you get that out to the community for all this information that's being brought up here and voted on a Monday night? It doesn't seem that that's fair to our community. And I'm just somebody wanting a barn, but the more I get into it, it's like, wow. And the financial meeting, y'all didn't say why we got it, why you doing this for the people that for Lula to have somebody start doing their payments and stuff. We didn't just tell people that. I think the community needs to know that, you folks. That's why we elected you. And they don't know why you got to have Norton in. And they don't know why we have to go to a payroll source. And they don't know why the why all this zoning is getting looked at and and it'll be proposed and it'll be voted on by y'all. But my golly, there's stuff that's happening that if I hadn't attended those 2 meetings on Tuesday and Wednesday night, I wouldn't know why they're voting on stuff tonight. And I don't know that you know exactly why they're voting on stuff tonight. I'm sorry, but that's not being transparent to the citizens that have elected this board. I'm done.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I wish you would vote on there more way.
Can that be voted on, George? Or what do we have to do?
We can't because the code requires the notice. The most we can do is, as the citizen mentioned, if they apply for a specific piece of property and assert vested rights, then you can take them up on an individual basis. And you have to.
Hi. Got all there more way.
No, she actually brought up some good things, and y'all did too. I'm a little curious now. Why are we behind on our taxes? Why is the city behind on our taxes?
We're not behind on taxes.
Did you say y'all filed them late? Taxes?
Audit.
No.
Oh,
The state required audit.
Oh, sorry, I misunderstood. Another thing is too, I attended that meeting on Wednesday, as you know, and she brought up some good points. Why? I've been here 16 years, 17 in December, and I had no clue about the 240 houses or 44 townhomes going over there on Belton Bridge. And you've been talking about, what, prior meeting, about how we want if we change the setbacks, we're gonna have our houses stacked closer. It's already that way down there. You're already talking about density down there, or excuse me, not density. Townhomes down there. You're putting townhomes in down there, or has that been approved yet?
It's still under review.
Still under review, but like she said, it's a small town. Let's keep it small. Why do we have to grow? I get it. The city needs to be profitable. It needs to make money, but why do we have to grow and be like our big brother Gainesville, as you said? So. Can't we just stay small?
Amen.
Thank you. I guess I'm done then.
Anybody else?
Yep. Blake Edwards, 6444 Narmore Way. I can probably help you with that problem you got beside your house. I brought it to this council, and that attorney 2 years ago gave a business plan, and I gave my business name and credentials to clean up some of these dilapidated and or condemned properties around here. Nobody ever contacted me or wrote me back. Since then, I bought and sold and remodeled about 8 properties in the city of Lula. That's what I do for a living. And I work with the marshal in Stevens County. When they go around and find these condemned places, they can't figure out who owns them or who's responsible for them, but I do. And you don't have to wait 270 days because I can purchase them, and I can turn around and remodel them, and then I can resell them and make the community better. But none of that property on Narmore Way is zoned agricultural. It's all R3, R1, every bit of it. And those setbacks are 25, 15, and 10, just like she said they were. So on agricultural, sure, they're 25, but that's not agriculturally zoned land. That's not how we're getting taxed. And that reflects on our tax bill. So, you know, I've offered to help with some of these things. I can't get anybody to call me back. I'll offer again. Can leave y'all some information. And it don't matter to me how many townhouses you put in. You know why? Because that's only going to make my property worth more money. And that means if I decide to get out of this small town and start renting to people from out of town, I'm just going to make more money. But that's sad. Because that's not what this community was built on. It was built on that railroad. Nobody would call me back, but somebody called the Norton Agency back about the same property I asked about. Now there's 8 or 10 houses over there. They aren't selling them retail, they're renting them. So you want to turn this into a rental community, we can do that. Thank you.
I don't think they're listening to you.
They don't care.
You know, as I questioned before, everybody that's going to said that Narmore is on agriculture. According to our map, it's on, like you say, your property taxes come in as residential. Yeah, I don't know how that's on, but that's what started all this mess. Because Narmore is in an agricultural district. Somehow or other.
If I may.
It's been,
If you're looking at the tax assessor's database, where it says zoning, if you read the rest of it, it is not zoning, it's a state definition for tax assessments. It's how the land is being used, not what the zoning is. So that category where it says residential, you think it's, I understand on the tax database, that is not a zoning. The city zoning is not on the tax database.
And why is it?
We're working on that.
It's listed municipal.
I can address that. I had the same question when I first moved to Lula. I didn't fully understand how Hall County, my property's in Hall County. And when I looked online, of course, you know, that's a company called Schneider Corporation. You're familiar. You look online, you look at these properties, you look at who owns it, how many years of back taxes are they? Can you go make an offer to those people? I get it, 100%. You're on it. I love what you did. So, but what I learned was that, you know, even though, you know, my property was zoned, you know, I didn't know what my property was zoned because, you know, Schneider Corporation, the GIS system, they say don't use these for, you know, any legal purposes. You know, they want to just discount everything they put out there. But the truth is that when I called Hall County, the Hall County property assessor told me, he said, look, they're right. This has nothing to do with your zoning. So when you see R3, R4, whatever, that may not be the zone. So you got to go to the city in which it resides, or if it's county, you got to go down to, I think it's their Superior, one of the courts that has all of it. And so we can't really look at, you know, Schneider Corporation online because the property assessor's office has to label it. I think what Frank was saying is that that's mandated by the state, so that they're only taxing you at the use in which it's currently being used rather than what it's actually zoned. So if you had an agricultural property and it's got a house on it, they're gonna tax you at R1, R3, R4, depending on what it is. They're not gonna tax you as agriculture. If you've got a residential property, I'd love to see, I really challenge Hall County on this one, but what if you have a vacant piece of property that's agriculture, and you're growing corn, you know, field of corn on it? Well, I shouldn't say that it's used agriculture, but zoned R1. I wonder what they would do with that one. That's a question.
Well, what I'm gonna tell you is this, is that if somebody goes to get a mortgage in the city of Lula and their property is agricultural, they're not gonna be able to get a loan unless it's over 5 acres. I do it every single day. When I took my mortgage on my house in 2013, if it was zoned agricultural, Wells Fargo would not have loaned me the money on a half an acre with a house on it that was agricultural.
Right, you'd probably run the USDA for something like that. And so that's a good point to make sure the public understands, is that when you're looking at lending and mortgages, it might be a good idea to understand what the actual zoning is, which is what Frank was alluding to, that, you know, why isn't it available for us to see? I know, I don't see, well, there's Matt. You and I talked about this before. We need our website overhauled. We need access to all of this information. And my goal is to make sure that we have enough things in place and funding to put all of that at your fingertips, so that you don't even have to come in and look or ask. And you might have to, I don't know exactly how we're going to do it, okay? But I would love us to be able to say, I wonder what my property zoning is, or I'd like to buy that one over there. What's the zoning on that one? Don't have to come in. Let's look at what's made available, you know, to us online as a city using our records, not Hall County's third-party company that's putting stuff out there and then discounting everything they say with a big disclaimer that says don't use this for any reason whatsoever. You know, so I'm with you, 100%.
That's something
That's what we want to do.
we could put our zoning up on the website. We still haven't yet.
Yeah, we need a new website.
Needs to be transparent with the city of Lula and the members here.
Yes.
Same with all the meetings.
Yes.
You know, you can get a video, but you can't get in writing what was said in a meeting.
Yes.
And there's nothing, I think the minutes of the meeting, something I would want to read through. I don't think that's anyways.
Excuse me, Craig, what's the tax implication going to be if they rezone us from agricultural to whatever?
We're already getting taxed on residential, they don't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're already getting taxed.
Tax
From
from
a
Hall
county tax, you're being taxed.
Yeah, as
residential.
what we are talking about.
So
If it
zoning
gets-
change won't impact
It won't impact
their
it regardless.
decisions. Yes.
You might want to look, just, and I know I'm way out of order here, I apologize. You might want to go to Hall County property assessors and just see, you know, when you look at your tax bill.
No, I've already.
If they're taxing you at R4, but you're really a single family residence, ask them, why are you charging me more money? This is a single family residence. I mean, I'm not saying that that's a real example, but it could be. something worth investigating. Okay.
You got any more citizen comments? Yes, ma'am.
Hello. I'm Samantha Glovers, 6513 Spring Street. I wanted to know if you all were aware of the construction going on Cornelia Highway, kind of right in between Athens Street and J. Moore Farms, I believe. In the evening time, there's construction going on at that area. I wanted to know. On Cornelia Highway. I want to know if that was city or county construction, state construction, because there's no detour signs. Even if there's construction workers working out there, they're not pointing people in the correct direction to go. It's quite unsafe. Like, I don't feel safe with my mother driving out there or anything like that. There's, for about a mile or maybe even 2 miles, there's no detour signs whatsoever. It's already low visibility.
They got one lane open, they don't need to. There's one lane open.
So, but it's still not telling you kind of where you can get off or where you can get on. So I've had trouble even getting on the Cornelia Highway just from the address that I live on. So, like I said, there's no detour signs whatsoever. Kind of, there's roads closed off that you can't access. So I just want to make sure y'all were. Yeah, then that's.
A road closure.
But you're not able to get it if the road is on the right lane and that right lane is closed. There's quite a number of roads you're not able to access. I would say probably from 10 p.m. to whenever they're finished in the morning.
You're talking about where they're actually, you're in the left-hand lane and they're working on the right-hand lane in front of your
Yeah,
road.
and there's Athens Street, there's Belton Bridge. I live off Belton Bridge, and I'm like having to do.
You're talking about they're actually working there, so you can't physically turn.
Yeah, and so there's no detours or telling you when your next turn is or anything, nothing like that for at least 2 miles. So it's very unsafe. Like I said, low visibility. There's no lights. There's just cones every couple feet, but there might be workers out there sitting on their trucks, just not being of service. So I just want to make sure you all were aware of that because it's quite dangerous. Even for me, I have pretty good eyesight, and I don't feel comfortable like getting home safely. So
I would contact the Georgia Department of Transportation. They're available Monday through Friday from 7:30 to 5 p.m. Eastern, and their phone number is 404-631-1990, and I don't mind sending that to you afterwards.
Yes, please.
404 what?
404-631-1990. That is the main number for Georgia DOT. And you could, I know there's an interactive voice response system there, but what you're looking for is you'd like to, really file a complaint about a current project that's been done.
Yeah, because it's been going on for months.
And their website has all of this information as well. They have several sections about it, but it's dot.ga.gov.
Okay.
So Department of Transportation, dot.ga.gov.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I didn't know Tony had a DJ voice though. He ain't got that number, it sounded like him.
Anybody else? We have upcoming meetings on our agenda down here. The Hall County Library has been right. It ends next Monday. The last day there is next Monday from 10 until noon in the depot. His office side meets next Monday night, 22nd, at 7 p.m. at the depot. The Lula Development Authority meets on the 23rd at 6 p.m. here in the City Hall. The Lula Ladies Lunch and Dinner is Wednesday the 24th at the depot, noon for lunch and 6:30 for dinner. The Carter Allen Development Authority PATH meeting is August 13th from 6 to 9 here at City Hall. The next work session will be August 12th at 6 p.m. The next council meeting, regular meeting, will be August 19th at 7 p.m. Now then, Mordecai, it's your turn.
All right, thank you. I want to mention about actions speak louder than words. What will your next step say about you? Think about it. You are judged by others based not by what you say, but by what you do. This is why we citizens of Lula, Georgia, are going to judge all of our leaders, whether elected, appointed, or employed to serve our town in any capacity by the actions they take to improve living conditions in Lula. What we citizens want to ask each one of our city officials, regardless of your position, is how deep are your roots? How great is your commitment to move our city into the future where everyone can prosper? Or do you have shallow roots? The thing we citizens want all of our elected people to know is that we don't want you to become discouraged because it seems like it is difficult to get things done. Change can happen overnight. Please read and understand how Joseph of the Bible kept his attitude positive in the worst times and was able, with God's help, to was raised to the highest office of the land next to the king. Don't lose your vision even when it appears to be dim and far away. Let's talk about when the impossible becomes possible. Are you in a situation that you don't know what to do? Just remember that we citizens are hoping that our city officials find a way around a block wall. If we keep the faith and do not grow really a good work, we will reap the victory. Better days are ahead. Each one of us can't afford to let what has happened in the past continue to affect us and have a negative attitude on future plans. We citizens want you to overcome criticism and the effects of bad attitudes and move ahead. Whatever is holding you back must be set aside. Let's don't let the scars we all suffer from keep all of us from moving forward to create the future that Lula deserves. Everyone can prosper by having a place where families, individuals can work together, children can look forward to a safe and productive life. Scars and bad experience can trap you, keeping you from moving forward. We all have scars of the heart that we don't have to keep us from our destiny. Speaking of destiny, we citizens want the city manager or any other city official to give us an estimate of when we can expect to see construction of more houses, developing light industries such as a meat market, a medical clinic, a library, a community center, or other necessary places which we have an easier access to the amenities families need to live and thrive. Whether I am around to see the progress or not, I want to know in my heart that progress is being made to support the next generation of Lula citizens. I want to thank you.
Mr. Mordecai. Okay, we're going to go to the sixth session tonight, but before we do, we'll have citizen comments. I mean, council comments, I'm sorry. We'll start. I'll be all right. That's okay. All right, you start us off.
Thank you to everyone for coming out tonight. It is important that you attend these meetings. There's a lot of times there's information like tonight. I wasn't made aware of two things that came up on our agenda. I learned about them tonight. We actually tabled one of them. So it is important to come to the meetings. I thank everyone who is coming to the meetings. Sometimes you point out things or perspective we didn't see, so it does help. We're trying, we're learning. A lot of us are still very new. A lot of us weren't here when certain decisions were made, so we can't answer for those decisions. All we can do is move forward and try to fix things. So I just want to thank you all. Got it?
That's me. I'd like to thank everyone for coming. Mr. Mordecai was on me this week, wanted me to answer. When was the grocery store coming? When was it? How did it start? I can't answer that. Can you answer that?
I can give you market forecasts, which aren't anytime soon.
Right.
Because we don't have the rooftop counts.
Don't have no rooftops.
Do you hear that?
You hear?
Not enough, you've got to have rooftops, you've got to have houses, before a big grocery store come in, that count.
Well, we want you to speak up and tell us what you need to do and when, and if it's possible. I want you to be able to speak to us when we come and answer and tell us exactly. Don't keep us in the dark. Just speak up. That's why you're here.
Okay. You good, Barry?
Yeah, I'm done.
Just thank everybody for coming. We are working on these problems y'all brought to our attention. As Juliet said, some of us haven't been here that long. We're trying to learn, trying to get caught up, but we are working. May not be to the speed some people want, but we gotta go do it the legal way too. It doesn't do any good if we rush through it and then it gets kicked out the first challenge it gets. So thank y'all for coming.
I just again want to say thank you all for coming. I did want to, I took a couple of notes while folks were coming up with these comments at the end of our meeting, and I just wanted to say I believe it was Blake Edwards. I believe it was Blake. Maybe it was Matt. I think it was Blake that mentioned. I know I don't see him in the room, but he did mention. Someone had mentioned that we didn't like rental community. And, I have to say, I think it was making reference to a particular development. I too, I like and support true, home ownership. I really do. I mean, that's, one of my core principles is I really want to make sure that everyone has that opportunity. That's, what we used to refer to as the American dream. I would like that an American dream for everyone. I also, just wanted to make mention, I think there was a comment made about, how we are trying to change Lula so that it's not agriculture anymore, and that does concern me. I do have agricultural property, and I was concerned when I saw some of the things. I'm waiting to hear back from the Planning Commission as they hold their meetings, but I want to make sure that Lula does have that small town feel, has agriculture amidst all of its community. I just make mention, the property that I have, and I think Lane may have stepped out, Lane Griffin. He had mentioned to me, he came down and, saw some of my goats one day. We were just having a discussion. And I will add, I know some people can see that I have a black eye today. This happened yesterday as I was chasing a goat. Point of order, don't chase goats. When they know they're trying to be captured. Anyway, it did knock me down, and I ended up with this great shiner, I suppose that's what they call it. I haven't had one of those in probably 30 years, but now I do thanks to the goat. But agriculture, I love agriculture. I want to be part of that agricultural community, and Lula is small. The house that we're in is a Llewellyn house. One of the Llewellyns had lived there back in the day, and this was what used to be Main Street. And I was told by Lane that if you needed to go from Florida to New York, you were going to drive right by my house. Now I'm the only house on the road because the railroad, they did end the underpass and put a new bridge over it. No one comes down there anymore. It's abandoned road, essentially, and I'm the only one down there. But I thought it was fascinating, the stories about that house and the people that lived there and the history of farming that was there. It was a Miller, I believe it was a Miller chicken house, and I think Garnet actually used to work there in that chicken house. It still sits on my property today. It's storage today. But Garnet worked as a teenager in that chicken house. So I want you to know that this council, we do here, and we do want to preserve what is Lula as a small town community, a rural community with agriculture, and we do want a grocery store. We do. So I just wanted to say, I've said a lot of stuff here, but thank you all for coming, and others have said it, we need your input. So come, and I know she's not in here right now, but she did attend a couple of meetings, and she was there. She did a great advertisement. She's like, you need to come, please come. That's a lot of data that we have to go through, and we do need you to see it, witness it, ask us questions, call us throughout the week. That's what we're here for. We really are. So let us know what's on your mind, okay? And again, I'll just say thank you. I'll end it with that. Thank you.
Tony, I got a question for you.
Yes.
How big is your property? Is it less than 5 acres?
It's 4.5 acres. Less than 5 acres.
That's where Tony's concerned about this zoning, y'all. He doesn't have 5 acres of land.
Yeah.
So, I knew that.
It won't change what I have, but if I ever sold it to someone, they wouldn't be able to do the same thing, so.
That's fine. I
Yeah.
knew the answer to that before I asked it. I want to point that out. Tony is really concerned about this thing too. It's his zoning thing. So we got to get it right, at least for Tony.
It's not always about me, but sometimes it takes us to be really close to a situation to understand it, right? All right.
I just want to, and I want to thank everybody for coming, and very interesting discussion today. And I didn't hold to the rules strictly this time, in case y'all didn't know. I just said all the time, I let everybody keep talking, I let everybody address the audience. I violated a few of my rules, but I think it serves for a better meeting, a less contentious meeting. So sometimes you got to bend the rules to have peace and quiet. Now, we're going to go to executive session to discuss personnel and real estate. We may not make a decision tonight, but you're welcome to hang around in case we do. We'll announce the decision at the end of our executive session. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn to executive session.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Motion made by Juliet, second by Chris, to go to executive session. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Go to executive session. Here's about 5 minutes.
I thought I heard all say you were going to chip in.
It's after 9 o'clock, there's nothing up with.
Not real. It's all flooded, man.
Sidewalks are all over.
We're back in executive session, and we made a decision. And what I'm going to recommend to council, since our city manager has been out due to surgery and things like that, I'm going to recommend the council put him on personal leave. So I'll give a motion.
I'll make the motion that we go ahead and put Dennis Bergen on personal leave.
Second.
Get a motion made by Juliet, second by Chris, to put Dennis on personal leave. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. I guess that concludes our business.
Can I make a motion to leave?
Make a motion, go home.
Got a motion to leave, want to go home.
Second vote.
Got a second, motion by Juliet, second by Garnet, to adjourn.
Yes, sir.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned. Angie says thank you.
Yes, starving.